Good morning guys, Chris the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel and thanks for choosing to spend the day with me, albeit an abbreviated version. I've got a few things to do today and a few tidy up jobs from last week. It's Sunday, it's quite a humid day and they are forecasting, and I know I've said this in recent episodes about storms, they're forecasting lots, in fact right through the whole week, and possible heavy falls. In fact, Central Australia is expected to get 5 to 6 years worth of rainfall in a matter of a week or two. So big rain event, and it's very humid. I think the tropical air is coming down and it's a bit unusual that it gets this far down. So we live in interesting times. I like stormy weather. Hopefully it's not too bad. I don't like dangerous storms. And the trouble with heavy rainfall, we have a bit of an issue with our house, and that's one job I have to do today. But actually, let me show you what I've got to do. The deck on the back of our house has I think they call it a flyover roof. So the roof of the deck just props on top of the roof of the house. So the spouting you see there, or the guttering, sorry, got to get the right terms, is actually collecting rainfall from a large expanse of the house roof, not from the deck roof. The deck roof slopes away this way. Now we put some flashing up there over the top of the guttering to stop water splashing off onto our deck when we had very heavy rain. But unfortunately we still have problems because that gutter just does not handle the quantity of rain when it's heavy from that end of the house all the way through to the other end, and the only downpipe is right at the far end, at the other end of the fernery there. So it just can't handle it and it flows over like a waterfall. Now that isn't a problem if I'm prepared for it, but if I have stuff sitting here to process and things I don't want to get wet, it obviously gets wet, and that's no good at all. But more of the problem is that I think the water is flowing back over the back of the guttering, under the tiles and into the ceiling, and you can see some staining around here where it's possibly been wet for some time and water has sort of pooled above the ceiling. This is actually cement sheet, so it doesn't really hurt the cement sheet so much, not like plaster that could collapse or masonite that warps and everything. But it does stain quite badly. We need to repaint it with some sort of stain blocker, but I've got to prevent it happening again. So given that there's storms looming, I thought this morning I'm going to tackle just a quick temporary makeshift job that can be fixed up later on. And around about here, I'm going to drill a few holes in the guttering in preparation for having an extra downpipe down to this section, which is off the deck onto the concrete area. And I think I can't really feed it into anything to drain it away, but I think if I put a deflector and let it flow out on the concrete, it naturally flows down towards the grass. And you know, if we have really heavy downpour of rain, everything gets absolutely flooded anyway, but I've got to keep the water off the deck. So that's my job this morning. I'm just going to drill some holes in the guttering and put a deflector under it, perhaps just to keep the water from building up and flowing back under the ceiling. It's still a large expanse, and if it still doesn't work or not work well enough, I might have to put an extra downpipe down the center here. In fact, I'll probably call the plumber to do that so he does a nice neat job. Not that I wouldn't, but I haven't got time. I could run the downpipe down this post, cut out a section of the boards there, and perhaps have a drainage pipe underneath the deck that flows out towards the garden. So that's one of my jobs for today. I thought I'd better get onto it while it's sort of coolish and before the rain starts. And there's a few other things that I have to do today. Some stuff's coming through the shop. We have a surround sound system. We have some Christmas lights. There's a Samsung computer monitor, an older one. Some kitchen appliances, steamers I think they are. And this really cool old fan, probably 1940s era. It's not actually branded, but it's got that classic deco sort of shape. It's quite heavy. It's made out of die-cast metal. And rather than do anything with this, it'd make a great restoration project, but I have enough projects. I thought I would pass it on to young Spencer, who's a fan of the channel and he watches regularly and he collects fans. So Spencer, if you're up this way again soon with your mum, perhaps shoot me a message. I'll put it aside for you and it will be a gift. You can have it and perhaps restore it later on down the track. I still haven't finished processing the e-waste I picked up from the charity shop last week. I'll get onto that. We've been through that. I also got a little turntable record player. It's a Dick Smith Electronics one, and it's quite modern. It's fairly cheap really, but it works well. It's a radio also, and I thought we might put that in our Airbnb just for a bit of a novelty. The guests can play records if they want, and if they don't, they'll have a radio. And I picked up a couple of records from the shop that I'll leave in there. It's going to be fun. Sometimes I guess there's a risk of kids playing with it and damaging it, but really it cost me nothing and the records are only cheapies, so I think we might add that to our Airbnb. Alright, I better get on to some of these jobs. Well, Coco's exhausted already. It's only 9 o'clock in the morning, Coco. Whilst I'm working on this spouting job, here's some footage I took. Actually, I'd forgotten. Here's some footage I took of going through our e-waste, and also the box of stuff we got from the school. And here's the big haul of e-waste that I picked up earlier in the week and I haven't had a chance to get through, so let's have a really quick rummage just to show you what sort of stuff I got. I'll be processing all of this off camera. I don't have time to do it on. Looks like we have some stuff in boxes. This is a vintage Philips coffee maker. Oh, it looks new. Looks unpackaged. What's this say? Purchased July 1985. I chose a Philips microwave. Well, that doesn't suit. A friend has one and is very happy with it. Oh no, and then it says Philips coffee maker. So, okay. So that might be, it's pretty much vintage, isn't it? 1985. Should be able to sell that. It's just a standard old percolator one. We have an Anko pie maker. Get those sort of things quite often. That looks like it might be new. That's good. A magic bullet. I did have a look in that before. It's got all the little fittings, so hopefully that works. A bit of random stuff in this box. Looks like some of it was at a garage sale, so that looks like a USB light. There's an electric knife in there, they sell okay. A lamp looks alright. And the base of a blender of some sort. Oh yeah, there it is. Alright, we'll be testing all those. Some of it will probably go for e-waste. Some of it hopefully just needs a clean. I won't be doing repairs on anything unless it's well and truly worthwhile. Folding craft lamp. Okay, hopefully that's alright in there. Another electric knife, good. There is a TV behind there. It looks like a bit of an older one. What brand was it? Sony. I did see a remote for it somewhere as well. The heater we're not going to sell this time of the year. It looks like it'll probably clean up okay. I don't know what this is. Is that a Dogness? Is that an automatic pet feeder? Never had one of those before. And a electric wok. Looks a bit burnt on the Teflon, so that'll probably just be scrap aluminium. And in this one we have a deep fryer that had a $5 sticker on it, probably from a garage sale. They're always very messy, these things. Underneath that we have something in a bag. What's in here? I don't know. So that's a PlayStation. Sony PlayStation. Power supply cords. Oh, that's nice. PlayStation 2. Hopefully it works. There's a kettle. Something in a bag here. I don't know what's in here. Looks a bit like a camera, but it doesn't feel like a camera. I said it looks like a camera bag. And it's is it a portable DVD player maybe? Come out of there. It looks like a portable DVD player or something along those lines. Yes, I'm sure it is. Alright, we'll test that. And what's that? Pop-up sprinkler? I don't think that's electrical. Next box we have, another electric knife. Weak for electric knives. Another knives, not knives. Another blender of some sort. There's the remote for, that's a Panasonic remote. It's not the TV one. What's this? A digital something. Digital blood pressure monitor. Okay. Oh, I did find something to buy and flip. I've got a really nice red glass vase. They had $4 on it. It's not damaged. It's possibly 60s era. So that's a really nice piece. Very happy to find that. I bought something else too. I can't remember what it was. Oh, here it is down the bottom. An apple corer. These are pretty cool items. I don't think it's necessarily that old. Oh, it's tangled up in the cords. And I think I paid $1 or $2 or something, so that was all right. The bottom box, we just have a lot of extension cords, power boards, and there's a bag full of Christmas lights. I think there was another couple of appliances. What's in here? Oh, just a lamp. Yeah, so nothing terribly exciting. A big haul, and yeah, I get all this for nothing. The charity shop don't want to deal with electrical. I've mentioned this many a times. They would normally take it straight out of the transfer station. There's a pretty good chance I can save 80 to 90% of this. Some of the things that are too dirty I won't bother with, and low value items like kettles, and didn't get any toasters this week. But yeah, I like picking it up, I like saving it and finding new homes for it. Alright, I'll process that later. What else have we got to go through? This box here came from a local school. They dropped it off last weekend, or it might have been Monday, and I take all the school stuff. It's usually vintage computer things. Let's tip it all out. A lot of chargers. Oh, it looks like we have some tablets. iPads, are they? iPad 5. Oh, okay. So this was... Oh, there's a whole heap of them. I'll have to see what model iPads they are. They look to be in pretty good condition. The school are happy for me to process this stuff as long as I make sure there's no data left on them. So I'll check out those. I don't know if they're going to be worth selling, older iPads. They're certainly not much value for scrap. They're certainly not worth pulling apart because there's only a minor, little motherboard in them, doesn't weigh hardly anything. But we do get some other stuff I can sell. There's some data cable or Ethernet cables. There's lots of chargers. I'm not sure what they suit. Are they chargers for... I don't think they're chargers for these, no. So I'll go through these and sort them out. But I get pretty good value, even if I just chop all the cords off for wire. But I'd rather sell the chargers if I can. And, oh, that modem or router is... Geez, it's a heavy one. Cisco. It's broken antennas on it. That might have a reasonable board in it. We'll scrap that out. But the rest of the stuff, these are brand new in packets, so I'll take them to the shop. Might be able to sell a few of those every now and again. So, all right, that's what we've got from the school. I'll work out what I'm going to do with these tablets and let you know. The rest of it I'll just sell where I can or scrap if I can't sell them. Okay, back to this job here. I've just clamped a bit of string to make a very crude plumb bob. So I've got a nice vertical... I've got a bolt tied to the bottom there, so at least I know that it's going to be square and straight. I'm going to drill a hole or a couple of holes and use some tin snips and cut a section out in the guttering, a little bit smaller than the fittings they use. I think they're 4" by 2", and if I get a plumber to finish it off, he can neaten it up. And once I was satisfied that I had the marks for the holes in the right place, it was just a matter of marking approximately the size I needed. And then I got the drill, used a small drill bit first to go through. I found it pretty difficult though, pushing up whilst leaning over on the top of the ladder. My shoulders aren't as young as they used to be. So small drill bit through first, then managed to get a larger one. But that was so much effort that I thought rather than drill more holes, I'll just get the angle grinder, it's a bit easier. And I cut a couple of slots once I'd done that, and making sure not to go too far along the guttering. I could then get the tin snips and sort of snip out the 3/4 of the flap and then folded it back down rather than cutting it straight off. And I'll leave the plumber to neaten that up and sort it out. Then I found a bit of flashing, which I hammered underneath the spouting, and hopefully that will help deflect the water. Okay, there we go. It's not pretty, but it's not meant to be. It's just a temporary stopgap job. Actually, it's not a stopgap, it's an open gap. Hopefully that lets enough water out of the guttering to allow it to cope with heavy rainfall, and a bit of a bend on that piece of sheet steel I found should deflect it away from the deck here. And this plant's going to get a good drink. But I'm hoping that it doesn't pool back and go under the house. At least excessive water shouldn't. That little section should deflect it away, and it'll land on this plant and hopefully just flow out onto the lawn. We'll see how we go. Now, Murphy's Law states that now that we're ready, it probably won't even rain, but at least we're prepared. Well, clearly Murphy was on holidays because it absolutely bucketed down about 9:30, and that little gap in the guttering worked really well, because this would have been a waterfall by now. So it wasn't completely successful, but it certainly helped a lot. The deck stayed reasonably dry. The guttering at the back of the deck was overflowing. It was really torrential rain, and it persisted for quite some time. And it was very humid, very tropical, certainly unusual weather for us. But yeah, it certainly flowed out of that gap very quickly. The little plant below got a very good drenching, and it flowed across onto the lawn as near as I could tell. It was very loud out there too. I did turn the volume down a bit. As the torrential downpour continued, it did start to drip through here, and there was even spots closer to the light where it was dripping through the gaps in the sheeting there. So still not completely successful. So about 10 we flew around to the shop to check. This corner leaks all the time, that wasn't too bad. But the big problem was out in my little storeroom, where we had a literal waterfall. The tubs filled up extremely quickly, and then it just flowed all over the floor. It was rather disheartening to see. Okay, I'm back in the shop this morning just to have a look at how we can get ready for the next onslaught, because they are forecasting big storms again tomorrow evening and into Wednesday. It's just some freak meteorological event apparently, but we've had big storms over the years, and this old building has had a few leaks. One of the worst ones over in the tech corner had been fixed, and there was not one drop there last night. We had to empty the tub in the shed or bloke's corner there about 3 times while we were here last night. I may have mentioned that, I'm not sure. But let's go and have a look in my storeroom, because that's where the waterfall happened. And also in this little kitchen section, Christine emptied these buckets, I think about 6 times or something while we were here. That one's full to the top again. It's drained away fairly well. It's left a bit of mud residue on the floor, which we've had before. And I turn off all the power points in this corner. I isolate them because I know this corner leaks badly. You can see the old pole of the building's quite rotten, very stained on the roof. It is a very old building, and it hasn't had any maintenance done on it for a long time. So there was no danger of electrocution, but that tub has filled up. That one was full. We'll have to perhaps dry the kettle and the toaster out before we use them again. And yeah, it's gone onto the ground or the floor. It's drained through into the toilet area, and it's gradually seeped away and evaporated. It's still quite warm in here. But if we go out to my storage area, and I think this is a bit of a prompt to switch some of my sorting to here, because I obviously don't want my stuff to get wet. Let's turn the lights on. And there's clearly a big problem here. All those tubs are full to the top, and the one on top of that's the power box there, and that one was overflowing when we left last night, and we couldn't do anything about it. It was coming through this fabric, like as you saw, it did that for quite some time. So the tubs worked for a little bit, and then once they were full, they may as well have not been there. The water flowed down onto that lower section there. It did flow around under boxes and things. I hope I don't think I've got any books or anything stacked on the floor, because they won't be any good. Anything in crates should be okay, because once the water sort of flowed around that floor, it probably would have gone out the front, and that's under the piano, and I guess drain across the footpath into the street gutters. But I did have a bit of a look around the other side while we were here last night. If I weave through this little narrow track, and yes, I did notice water creeping across here. So there's a few electrical items there. I think they'll be all right. There's the base of a clock. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Hopefully there's no boxes of books or anything on the floor. I've got a lot of books and car manuals on shelving here, but they're all up high, and the water that creeped across through here was only a matter of a few millimeters, and then it would have flowed out the front. But it is a bit of a prompter to get all this stuff sorted out and process it all. I've got some bubble wrap packing there. I've got all sorts of stuff just shoved in the aisle. I can't get through there anymore. I did show you all this when I did my hoarder disorder walk around. But yeah, I definitely need to get in here and start emptying this storeroom. It's probably a little bit more important actually than my shed at home. Once I've made room around my workbench, perhaps I'll switch my efforts to here. I did spend a bit of time just last weekend cleaning some stuff out of this corner because they were forecasting floods, and I knew there was a leak here, but I didn't know it was a waterfall. But anyway, hopefully we haven't had too much damage, and I'll get in here as soon as I can and start making some room. Back in my shed now this afternoon. It's actually a beautiful day. There's not a cloud in the sky. Go figure. But it's supposed to be coming back tomorrow, as I mentioned. Now, the spouting or the guttering at the shop, it's a very old building, as I've said, and it's been remodeled a few times over the years. It originally was a garage or a workshop, and I think that section in my storeroom has an internal box guttering that's very hard to get to, and it's probably either rusted through or it's blocked up with leaves. It's really not much point, well, for us it's no point really fixing it because I'm going to clean that room out and reduce all the stuff at the shop. So I've just got to put up with that. It was certainly an unusual event. We usually don't have that much. Normally the tubs I have there would catch any heavy rain. But we had, I didn't tell you, I measured the rain gauge. We had almost, actually just a bit over 3 inches. That's about 77 mil in about 2 hours. Maybe a little bit longer. There was a little bit of rain during the day, but most of that came in probably an hour and a half. So that's certainly a very unusual event. But unusual or not, we may see it again in a day and a half's time. Anyway, I'm going to concentrate on getting a little bit of room around my workbench here, as we've all been discussing. But I think my next thing will be to switch back and clean out that room and just make it less likely to lose anything to floods. Okay, now what have I got to report? We still want to get something out of this shed. I'm just going to pick up a couple of things before we finish up this video, just to tick that off the list. I did some checking on these iPad minis. They are all in perfect condition. They all charged up, but they're all locked. Now, I've been back across to the school to have a chat to them, and their IT guy is going to be there Friday. I'll go and see him. Hopefully they can unlock them, and then they're available to sell. I should get, well, from what I saw on eBay, they should get $30 or $40 each. If I sell them in a bulk lot of, what have I got, 7, even if I just get $100, much better for me than anything else. So I wouldn't get any value for them really as scrap metal, hardly anything. They would probably go as irony aluminium. They probably only weigh a couple of kilos, if that. Or I'd just throw them to the crates out at the transfer station, which is a real waste because they're perfectly good iPads. Now, they do sell on eBay if they're unlocked, and they were getting, as I mentioned, $30, $40. I'm not sure if guys that refurbish these send them to overseas countries or something, but they're too good. It'd be such a waste to throw these out. Even though they have limited ability in today's age, I'm not sure they'd be at least 10 years old. I'm sure people use them, otherwise they wouldn't sell on eBay. So I'll let you know how I go there. Hopefully they can unlock them. What else do I have to report? I went through the rest of the e-waste that was on the deck. I've nearly finished it. The Sony TV works really well, gets all the channels, so I'll get $40, $50 for that at the shop. The PS2, the Sony PlayStation, actually works. There's at least $100 there. Some of the other appliances and lamps are quite saleable. There wasn't a lot of e-waste out of that lot, so that was a really good pickup from the op shop. Very happy with that. Let's get something out of the shed before we sign off. Okay, just to finish this video, let's get a couple of things off the floor here. We'll put them up on the bench and we'll have a chat about them. It's an old gas cylinder. We're not sure what's in this box. Looks like, oh, hardware. Okay, nuts and bolts. There's a hard drive from a laptop. Got some stereo gear in here, which I'm keen to get into. There's also a timber box over here. And, oh, my circular saw. I'm obviously going to keep that. I need to find somewhere better to put that. But that cleans up a bit more space. We'll probably start on this stack next time when we have a bit of extra time. Okay, let's make some decisions. Well, this timber box, it's quite light. It's only plywood. It's got some, oh, they're the hinges that end. Doesn't have a latch on the front. Was it cutlery or something? No, I'm not sure what it was. Just a box. I might have kept it because I thought it'd make a good display box for the shop. I don't really have room for a display box. I'm just going to brush this off and take it to the shop, and we'll put, I don't know, we'll put $20 on it. I think someone might buy it for that. It'll actually look quite good. You could probably put a sheet of glass on top, but I think it would look quite good just with a piece of nice fabric in there, maybe even in the top. make a really nice display box for something. But I don't need it, and I don't need it as a project, and I'm happy to take someone's $20 for it if we can get that, so that'll go to the shop. Now this gas cylinder, it's a very old, probably camping gas cylinder. It's a little bit larger than the ones you normally see, and the reason I kept it is that it's actually still got gas in it, and it's reasonably heavy, but I can tell it's got gas in it because if I give it a wobble and then stop, it continues to move. So the liquid in there is rocking back and forward. So I reckon it's probably about half full. I'm not sure. I've kept a lot of these and they're scattered all around the shed when I clean out other people's sheds and thinking, oh, I'll use that gas. But, you know, I've got a little propane burner for jobs, but I've hardly used it. How much gas do I need? And if I do need some, maybe I can just go and buy a new bottle. I've got a barbecue bottle. Is that the same gas? That's LPG. Might be different sort of gas, but it does the same job for heating. Maybe if I start melting lead or melting pewter or something, I could use it up. Don't know, what do you think? Should I keep it? And then when I'm set up to melt pewter, I'm going to melt some pewter at some stage because I keep collecting the mugs from the op shop. Should I keep these cylinders, and it'd be easy enough to get a fitting for that, and set up a little burner and use up basically the free gas I've got? Or I could, it's probably not really safe to take it to the transfer station when it's half full of gas. I guess they probably have rules that they only accept empty cylinders in the scrap metal. Some scrapyards won't take cylinder bottles of any kind, whether they're empty or full, because they apparently explode in the compactor. I think I'll put it aside and I'll probably use the gas up. But let me know if you've got any other ideas. I have got a burner somewhere for actually burning weeds. Maybe I could make up a fitting and just use it for burning weeds around the house. Not sure. I'll put that one aside for now and put your comments down below what you think I should do with that. I reckon I've probably got half a dozen at least of old gas bottles that are well out of date, but they've still got quite a bit of gas in them. Okay, so that one's not leaving the shed just yet. Here we have a box full of assorted hardware, nuts and bolts, all sorts of random stuff. Would have come into someone's shed. I'm just going to sort that into jars. You don't need to see that on camera. Oh, these are new old stock Victor lawnmower bolts from 1960s era Victor. They might even sell. So I'll go through that and sort it out. I will show you if I find anything really interesting, but I think it's mostly just hardware. A little turnbuckle there that will sell. So yeah, easy. I'll sort that out. Most of it will go into jars to go to the shop and we'll sell that. Now the only other thing was this little hard drive from a laptop. Let's pull it apart and have a look inside it. Actually, I'm not sure what this little hard disk drive was out of. It says not suitable for laptop computer use. So, don't know. Some sort of digital recorder perhaps. Now these are Torx bits. And these things are not worth scrapping. I mean, well, economically no. Some people like doing micro scrapping, and Laura actually mentioned in a recent video that you shouldn't really discount that people love pulling things apart as a form of enjoyment. So if that's the case as a hobby, then by all means it's perfectly worthwhile. I mean, people go and walk around a golf course all afternoon and get frustrated, and they actually pay money to do it, and they consider that worthwhile. I haven't played much golf in my life, and I don't intend to start now. All right, we've probably got a screw under the sticker somewhere. I can't feel it. Let's lever it up. We're not trying to save it, just want to have a look inside. There's definitely another screw somewhere there. That spot, I reckon. No. Up there. There we go. Now we're in. So for those that haven't seen in a hard drive, these little laptop style ones are much the same as the big ones. The main difference is obviously they're smaller and lighter, but the disk in these little ones, that's what holds your data, is they're usually glass in these little ones, whereas on the larger hard drives they're usually aluminium. So you have a little reader here, a little bit of wiring. There'll be a little control board somewhere on this side perhaps. Oh, we've got screws on the side and they are Phillips head. But nothing in here is really economically worth pulling out unless maybe you have a use for the discs. The aluminium discs I've often thought would be really handy for something. They're so nicely machined, but I haven't really found a use for them yet. Of course, I do get magnets out of the larger ones, and the little ones will have magnets in them, but they're so tiny that they're not really that desirable. Rightio, we should have a circuit board on this side. There we go. And we have some little Phillips head screws holding that in. The frame of these is normally, I think it's a cast aluminium. So what do you do with these things? Well, probably just throw them in with the e-waste, really. It weighs 150 grams, I weighed it. And the best price, well, I've looked up e-waste Ben's website. I assume he's still buying boards and things. I haven't dealt with him for quite some time. But he quotes 85 cents a kilo for hard drives. So 85 cents a kilo, and this is 150 grams. We're looking at about 10 cents. But that's obviously, you don't have to scrap it. You don't have to pull it apart to get that. You just throw it all in a box. So maybe that's the best way. If you're going to go to someone that buys the hard drives, I guess just save them up in a box. Quite a big chip on the board. In fact, there's lots of chips. So the board will definitely go as a mid-grade board, but it's featherweight. So you're not going to get much value for it. The rest of this is cast aluminium. So it certainly could go in now with your irony aluminium. Maybe it could originally. In fact, irony aluminium is paying a little bit more than 85 cents a kilo, so that's probably a better option than going to e-waste Ben. Now the magnets are in here. They are rare earth magnets or neodymium magnets. Super powerful. I'm trying to avoid you guys getting reflection from the disc. And I do actually sell the magnets through the shop from the bigger hard drives. And people buy them. But these ones are quite small. But yeah, they're still very good little magnets. Super powerful. And there's another one under here. We'd have to take this reader assembly off. How does that come out? That centerpiece unscrews. Now someone's probably going to tell me there's gold in there. There's certainly a little spool of copper. There's a little contact board here. It may have traces of gold. I think gold recovery on these things is best left to professionals. Oh, there's another screw there. And even then it's probably marginal. They would recover all the metals, not just the gold. So there we go, that's another little neodymium magnet. That one's flat. You could probably screw that to a wall or something and use it to hold all your tools up. Lots of uses. You could probably even stick that one on your fridge. So a couple of small magnets that I don't think I'll try and sell. Maybe I'll put them in a box and have a box lot of them. Someone might buy them for craft work or something, who knows. The rest of this is mostly cast aluminium. The top plate's possibly stainless steel. Yeah, so that'd be stainless steel. It's just got a sticker on it, but that can go at our stainless bin. And to get the disc out, I think we've got one screw in the middle. Some nicely machined pieces of metal. There's our disc. Rightio. So I'll try and keep the reflection away. This one might be aluminium. I mean, I suppose I could try and break it and see, but it does have a bit of a metal type feel to it, so I think that is aluminium. Let's check. Alright, pliers, long handled pliers, so I'm well out of the road. I have my glasses on. Ah, there you go, it's glass. So now I've got to sweep up the mess. But yeah, I can't see a possible use for those, whereas the aluminium ones, I guess they could go in with the aluminium scrap. Trying to bend it's obviously the best way to tell if it's glass or not. Alright, I better clean up this mess, but really not much value here. Let me know in the comments what you guys do with hard drives, whether they be the little laptop ones or the larger PC ones. Alright, let's wind this video up now. Thanks for spending the day with me, or it was about a day and a half, I suppose. You never know what you're going to get in these episodes because I don't know what I was going to get. I didn't expect to be carrying about 19 buckets of water and tipping them down the sink at the shop this morning. So another day in the life of the ultimate recycler. Not always about recycling, but mostly about getting organised and just having an interesting day. And I hope you're enjoying the journeys. We'll catch you in the next video, which will probably be an episode of the emergency storage shed. Then we'll be back into sorting out, and let me know what you think as well, whether I should perhaps just back off on the shed here, because this can be done anytime, and really start to get the shop organised. Obviously, you know, storms and everything are going to cause issues, but we really should start winding it up. There's a lot of stuff at the shop and we're not getting any younger. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.